Her armor was accidentally washed by me. Do you know what that means? Asked the alien girl when she stopped moving. As he surveyed the Harmony Station's maintenance area, Marcus wiped his hands on the greasy cloth. Another day, another dozen pieces of machinery that required his human touch to continue working. While each of the other species on the station was brilliant in its own way, none of them seemed to possess the peculiar human talent for repairing broken things. When he saw the stack of armor plates stacked haphazardly in the corner, he was about to call it a day. They belonged to the Veltar warrior Zixara, who had been assigned to the security detail at the station 3 months prior. From her most recent patrol, what appeared to be dried ichor was covering the kitten plates. In the outer rim, there is something about pirates, Marcus frowned. The poor girl had been working double shifts ever since the incident with the smugglers, and she looked exhausted. Her normally flawless blue-black carapace had become dull, and her expressive compound eyes appeared tired. Marcus gathered the pieces of armor without really thinking about it. Although Thear were proud warriors, everyone occasionally required assistance. He had observed Zixara's attention to detail when it came to her gear. This couldn't be intentional neglect. Marcus had modified one of the industrial washers in the lower bay a few years ago for more delicate work. These washers were meant for heavy-duty cleaning of starship components. He carefully loaded each Zixara armor piece, adjusting the temperature and cleaning agents. Similar to Earth's arthropod shells, the Veltar's exoskeleton was made of keratin-based proteins that could withstand mild detergents and warm water. Marcus continued his other repairs as the washer hummed through its cycle. When he heard the distinctive click-clack of rapidly approaching footsteps, he was caught up in a faulty atmospheric processor. "Mr. Human," came Zixara's melodious voice, though it carried an unusual tension. "I've lost track of my armor. It was last detected in this sector, as indicated by the security terminal." Marcus stood up straight and wiped his hands once more. "Oh, I'm to blame for that. I washed it because I noticed it looked pretty worn from your last mission. Ought to be finished within the allotted time frame. Actually, right about right now." His words had a dramatic and immediate impact on Zixara. Her antenna became brittle. Marcus had learned that when a member of her species acted in a manner that indicated extreme shock or fear, her compound eyes widened to nearly twice their normal size, and she remained completely still. You washed my armor," she whispered, her translator struggling with the emotional undertones in her native language. "Yeah, it looked like you hadn't had time to clean it properly. Don't worry, I used the gentle cycle. Do you know what that means?" Zixara made an abrupt, barely audible interruption. Marcus thought he'd made a terrible cultural error and stopped. I tried to assist. Zixara said slowly, "I thought, among my people, armor is sacred. I know how hard you've worked. It is produced by our own efforts, shaped by our own hands, and grown from our own bodies. It is forbidden to touch another person's armor without permission. It is intimate beyond measure." Marcus felt his face flush with embarrassment. "I'm so sorry. Oh God, I didn't know." She continued, still in that stunned whisper, "I was just trying to clean another's armor, to care for it as if it were your own. This is only done between bondmates who are the closest to each other. It is a declaration that, once more, she appeared to be looking for the appropriate translation of protective devotion and willingness to share burdens. Except for the distant hum of the station's life support systems, the maintenance bay was silent. Marcus's mind raced as he stared at the alien warrior. He reflected on the past few months, recalling how he had looked forward to her visits to the maintenance bay and how her presence had somehow alleviated the monotony of the never-ending repair process. He spoke carefully. "Zix, what if I told you that I did know what it meant?" Her antenna twitched, a sign of surprise among her people. "However, you are human. These traditions are not practiced by your species." After moving to the washer with a grin, Marcus carefully removed the first piece of armor. Like polished obsidian, it sparkled. Every scratch and dent cleaned away, every joint lubricated and smooth. He paused as he met her compound gaze. Despite the fact that we may not adhere to the same traditions, people who matter to us. Zixara's chitinous plates shifted, the velar equivalent of a blush. Given what it means to my people, would you truly share this burden with me? Zixara, I don't know what it means to your people, that I've been sharing your burdens for months. Marcus noticed as she held out her breastplate that the intricate patterns etched into its surface had been exposed by the cleaning. Patterns that told the story of her achievements, her lineage, her hopes. I've been concerned about how hard you work, how late you stay up, and how much responsibility you put on yourself. She reached out with trembling claws to accept the armor piece. Marcus felt the slight electric tingle that came with contact with bioelectricity whenever their hands touched. "This changes things between us," she said softly. "I am aware that the others will speak, a velar and a human. Allow them to speak." Marcus handed her another piece of armor. "I've never been one to worry much about what others think. One of the advantages of being human. I guess we're stubborn like that." Zixara made the chittering sound of laughter for the first time since he had known her. "Yes, I have noticed this about your species. You are remarkably unconcerned with conventional wisdom." Marcus observed the transformation as she put on the cleaned armor. The hero of his admiration was returning. However, there was something else about her now, a warmth and an openness she hadn't had before. "Marcus," she said as she secured the final piece, would you teach me about human customs of care? I am intrigued by your people's methods of burden sharing." Marcus smiled and reached for his tools right away. After all, her weapons needed maintenance too. And he had a feeling this was going to be the start of a very interesting partnership. The galaxy might be vast and full of different species with their own ways of doing things. But some things, like caring for someone who mattered to you, seemed to be universal. He added, "I'd be happy too. However, a fair warning, humans can be a bit overwhelming when we care about someone." Zixara's compound eyes sparkled with what Marcus was beginning to recognize as mischief. "Human, Marcus, I believe I can handle it. After all, you have already seen me at my most vulnerable." As she walked away, armor gleaming and step lighter than it had been in weeks, Marcus reflected on the strange turns life could take. He'd come to Harmony Station to fix broken things, and somehow he'd ended up finding something he hadn't even known was missing. He used to think that sometimes the best repairs were the ones you didn't see.